So there, out of his seat, that's Commander Jared, who, like I mentioned before, will be referred to as EV1. Behind him, we can see already in his new seat, pilot Scott Kidd Poteet. He will be Support 1. Moving around in front of us is Sarah, who will be EV2. And then just out of view underneath the camera, but I think you can see her visor, is Anna Menon, who is Support 2.
Dragon SpaceX, we're on backup sensors. Repeat HUD checks.
Crew's going to check out those heads-up displays one more time real quick.
SpaceX, head checkouts on backup sensors on.
Copy, good HUDs. Returning to primary. Stand by for helmet camera checkouts.
I love how everyone looks so calm and collected right now. I think that's a great visualization of just all the extensive training that they've gone through to get to this point. This has been years in the making. I'm sure they're excited, but everyone's focused.
Dragon SpaceX. SpaceX is go for spacewalk operations. Report visors down, ready for secondary O2 flow initiation, and crew is go for spacewalk.
Verify your visors are closed.
Dragon SpaceX initiating secondary O2.
And with that news, our EVA has begun.
Dragon SpaceX, a reminder, after the initiation of primary O2 flow, EV1, EV2 will need to adjust Vox threshold low following primary O2 flow initiation.
EV1 copies. EV2 copies.
Dragon SpaceX, secondary flow purge complete. Close secondary O2 valves and report ready for suit pressurization.
EV1 closed. EV2 closed.
Support 1 closed.
Support 2 closed. SpaceX Dragon is ready for suit pressurization.
Initiating primary O2.
This is normal. This is with the airflow coming through. The crew members are on Vox, meaning that their microphone is on the whole time. So Sarah and Jared are going to be adjusting their audio levels as this flow continues to help regulate that.
So at this moment, the suits are getting their primary pressurization. This takes about 3.5 minutes, a little bit less, and then we're going to go through those actual suit leak checks. The crew will probably get a reminder they have to stay really still when we do those leak checks, and I always was kind of wondering, like, why the heck? And like, if you bend your arms, you're actually going to start, changing the volume inside the suit, and that'll cause pressure spikes. And so
that's right.
You got to stay really still.
We just heard that they're good. They all 4 crew members gave the go. So now we're going to vent the cabin so it's able to...
Dragon SpaceX, cabin pressure below hatch operating limit. Stand by for transition to hatch open prep.
Here we go.
Dragon SpaceX, when EVA hatch open prep, confirm crew ready to open hatch.
That is great news.
Hatch opening. EV1 good. EV2 good. Support 1 good.
6 copies. Dragon, you are go to open hatch.
Good. Excited.
Copy that, SpaceX. Go to open the hatch.
Mike, as you mentioned before, that continuous communication.
Hatch handle.
As you can hear, we do have a crowd gathering outside of Mission Control here in Hawthorne. In their excitement, somebody dropped a cup. We can see our commander, Jared Isaacman, now turning the crank, which allows that top hatch to open. We'll see him give it a pretty heavy...
ED1, hatch is visually indicating open.
Copies, stand by.
Should see him give that hatch a pretty strong jolt to release that stiction. As you can see, we have successfully depressurized the Dragon capsule down to 0 PSIA. You see that in the bottom left corner of your screen. Our 4 Polaris Dawn crew members have gone through the O2 flow, and we see Commander Jared Isaacman now standing by to open that top hatch. Jared now opening Dragon Resilience into space.
So we saw some motion on the hatch. Again, he's just giving it kind of that initial tug. And then Sarah gets to push the buttons to swing that hatch open.
Much more movement there on the forward hatch.
That's a good brace. We're going to have you repeat the operation.
The center of the hatch actually has a window.
The hatch is unseated.
Copy.
Let's give it another pull. The hatch is several inches inside the turn. Looking good, right?
Copy. We see it.
out that tiny window there in the forward hatch, knowing he is going to have a much bigger window in just minutes. There is our first view of the forward hatch, wide open to space.
Forward hatch.
If you just jumped in, we are 38 minutes into today's spacewalk, and the hatch is open on Dragon. First view from a helmet cam, looking out.
Dragon SpaceX, we see it stalled. EV1 is go to continue.
SpaceX EV1, I'm transitioning back from under the displays.
SpaceX copies, we're with you in your helmet cam.
Once again, this helmet cam, that structure we see is the spacewalker. This is Jared now egressing through the forward hatch of Dragon Resilience. These are the first views of the first ever commercial spacewalk. I have a feeling the crowd is about to go wild.
Good call. Approaching the top of the board here. SpaceX, back at home we all have a lot of work to do, but for here, Earth sure looks like a perfect world. Alright, SpaceX, EV1, I'm going to step into Test Matrix 1. Single-handed mobility demonstration.
Commander Jared Isaacman now emerging
Copy,
from...
we're with you in Test Matrix 1, watching from the nose cone.
Up, down, left, and right are 3. Pitch and roll are 3. Yaw is a 2. Switching. Single-handed operations are fine. Static and with dynamic disturbance. Switching to left hand.
So these are the suit mobility checks that Jared is
Single-handed
performing.
operations, dynamic and with disturbance are all adequate. Test Matrix 1 complete. HUD check, 5.3 PSI, 48% RH, 33.9 Celsius.
SpaceX copies Test Matrix 1 and HUD readout.
And SpaceX EV1, we're taking a quick look here at the hatch seals. From what I can see so far, they look pretty good.
Copy on the hatch seals and stand by for transition to 3-off reset.
So Jared back inside. We heard him going through what's called the test matrix. It's basically just a bunch of maneuvers using different hands, using the foot mobility.
Yeah. Now you mentioned Sarah. Just like Jared, she will have 10 to 15 minutes outside, perform those same sets of mobility tests as Jared. Like we heard the Corps do with EV1, they will call out when there's 1 minute remaining.
SpaceX, attitude reset complete. EV2, go for egress.
There's Sarah's clear to proceed.
Copy. Crew check for EV2 egress.
EV1's good.
EV2's good.
All good.
Port 2 good. EV2 is going to go stand in the door and then step outside.
Super exciting to see this. Our fellow SpaceXer, Sarah Gillis, now about to make her spacewalk.
I said it before, a lot of us work here because we want to do this.
All right, stepping into Test Matrix 1 for single-handed mobility.
Really cool to see one of our own out there. That's awesome.
Certainly cross-coupled movements. Forward, back, I am inducing a bit of a roll. course, the left hand, stepping into vertical translation.
SpaceX copies. And EV2 for awareness, we're tracking an ingress time at O2 flow, 5-9 minutes.
She's got about a minute left, and then she's going to start heading inside.
And SpaceX, with a little more work, they can actually get between almost bar 1 and bar 4 on max reach.
SpaceX copies.
And you could see the Earth dark, and we flew into like an orbital.
All right, and test matrix 2, trying to combine them, so we'll call that complete. Seat pressure 5.27, 38% humidity, 33.7 Celsius.
SpaceX copies, matrix complete, and how do we read out?
I'm able to engage and disengage my seat.
Copy that, EV2. And once you are able to engage, disengage, we'll actually have you start ingress. We're just over 5-9 minutes O2 flow.
With that, EV2 is proceeding with ingress. Please check for ingress. Copy. Coming on in.
Just like that, Sarah's going to start making her way in. We're a couple minutes into our leak check. You're seeing the pressure continue to tick up. We've stopped the nitrogen injections, but again, oxygen coming out of essentially a vent line on those suits. And that is why you're going to continue to see the pressure tick up. You heard Jared call out the PPO2. That's gone up. That's your partial pressure of oxygen. We're looking for that to get to over about 2.6, a little bit higher. And then our final actual, just ambient pressure inside Dragon is going to be right around 14.4 or so. And I mean, that's a little bit lower than what we're walking around in now. But if you're at a little higher altitude state in the country or something, that's what you might be sitting in right now in your house. And they haven't been at that pressure since they left her. But after we get all the way up there, we're going to do kind of a final flush of the suits using that nitrox that Kay was talking about. That takes them out of that pure oxygen environment. And that's one of the final steps before we'll hear that call from Arthur of EVA operations complete, and that's when our clock's going to stop.
We got views again. Well, it might look like the feed is frozen. If you look closely, you can see small micro movements there with fingers and the strap above Anna's shoulder. We, unfortunately, due to ground station coverage, don't have video 100% of the time, even though we wish we did. That would be great. But we can see that Jared and Sarah are not strapped into their seats, of course, because they performed their EVAs or their spacewalks, extravehicular activities, where Anna and Kid remained in their seats, the window seats. So we can see their safety harnesses still strapped in there. At this point in time, we are continuing with the repressurization of the Dragon capsule, Dragon Resilience.
All four were exposed to the vacuum of space. This is the first time that's ever happened in human history, having four people all at the same time.
Yep.
EVA repress is complete. Continuing suit washout.
Copy that, SpaceX.
Great news there. Confirmation that Dragon repress is now complete.
All right, check secondary O2 valves closed. EV1's closed.
EV2's closed.
4-1 closed.
4-2 closed.
All right, you're going to manually vent down. Smell that. Space.
Dragon SpaceX, EV operations complete.
Copy that, SpaceX. We show the same. Nice job for everyone. And everyone at SpaceX who made it possible.
Wow. If you're just joining us, we just heard the call out that EVA operations are complete. Really, that's it. That was the first ever commercial spacewalk.